course, Lindsay Burrow, the wife of Rob Burrow, who's actually behind the cameras, is come to see us this morning. Great to see you. It's been a big weekend. Bumped into a couple of events this weekend, a dinner, but the big one, the one that we all had a bit of fun at, was the 10K. And the kids, Maya and Macy, took Rob that round in a wheelchair as well. I think it was a kilometre and a half. How did they enjoy that, and did Rob have fun?
Yeah, they loved it. I think just, for the whole family to get involved in that event was really special. I think fitting it was on Father's Day and the kids got to be involved, and they were immensely proud yesterday taking the medals in to show the teachers and the friends at school. So,
brilliant.
I think it's just trying to show that message, isn't it, that despite the situation, it's just make the most of every day. And it was great to be involved with the whole family and get them involved in an event. So really enjoyed taking part on Sunday.
And I hear that Rob enjoyed it as well. I had a bit of a steering issue at one point, got away from him.
Yeah, I think the girls were running quite fast at one bit, lost control, and managed to tip Rob over and end up underneath the wheelchair. But Rob saw the funny side, thankfully, and is absolutely fine. So it was all good.
He's still giggling now, still laughing. The girls have really grown, haven't they? I remember a mid-season international interviewing them there before the England game against France, and it blew me away every time I speak to them how much they've grown as individuals. And I know they're into the dancing and performing as well. Just along this journey and some of the responsibilities that's come across them, how have they grown into some of those roles in the way that they've grown as human beings as well?
Yeah, incredibly proud. I think, in many ways they're very much like the dad. They've shown that courage and that bravery and that resilience, I think, in many ways. And for me, I think they don't look for self-pity. They love life. They wake up every morning with big smiles on their face, and they kind of, it gives you something to smile about. So they keep us going. And, there's never a dull moment, whether it be dancing or swimming or gymnastics or football. We're there just to kind of give them the best childhood that we possibly can. And from Rob's diagnosis, we've always said we want it to keep it as normal as can for the children. And they just love life, and they're so full of energy, and they keep us going as much as anything.
I tell you, they were easier and better to interview than professional rugby league players. I tell you, they were outstanding. There's a chapter in Kev's book when he's talking about the ultra marathon, and he meets a young girl called Harry, who I think is 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And he gives her his snud the night before, covered in rain and sweat, and the next morning she comes, it's dry and it's been washed. And he talks about she'd seen Maya and Macy on the news, and it inspired her to run a kilometre before school. So the kids are having just as much influence on those young faces as well. You must be incredibly proud to hear that.
Incredibly proud, and I think sometimes you don't realise the awareness that you're having, and for us to to let the children do that we always check that they're happy to do that, but for them to raise that awareness and be in the public eye and show just how much that they have tackled this head on as much as anyone makes you really proud as a parent. And obviously, Rob and the children, it goes without saying, are my priority, and making sure that they're well-being and they're happy. And but just incredibly proud of the awareness that they've raised and how they've tackled it head-on, just like Rob. You're
inspiring as a family, and whenever we talk about that journey publicly, people always reference yourself and girls as well, obviously Rob and Kev and others. I've just found it really interesting when you reflect back, and certainly in contrast to families now within rugby league. I think our generation were a bit more private, and I always talk about the fact Kev being a really close mate. I've only ever been to his house once. I think he'd been to mine once, and the occasions I'd nip round and sit and see Rob. But family life was family life, and then rugby life was rugby life, and it can be uncomfortable becoming public, but it's something that you've obviously had to do. How have you grown into that as well, Lindsay Burrow, having to speak and talk about this journey?
Yeah, for me, I'm just a working class mum, a physiotherapist, I work for the NHS, so to suddenly, have all this attention and to kind of open your doors and let people in, and that was what Rob wanted to do. He wanted to show, how MND affects not just a person, but also the whole family, and I think, opening his doors and at a time when he's most vulnerable is a really sort of courageous thing to do. It's definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's been very humbling, and I think I've grown as a person from it. If you'd have said to me 3.5 years ago, "Oh, you'll be sitting down doing interviews, you'll be doing this, that, and the other," I would have said, absolutely no chance. It's just not me. I don't like the attention, I don't like the limelight, but I think the feedback we've had, the outpouring of love and support for us as a family has just been incredible. And I think if that helps one other person or one other family, then that can only be a good thing. And that's what we're trying to do, is just do our little bit to help raise that awareness.
And that's it, isn't it? The bell, the drum that Kev obviously talked a lot about, banging, does it to draw attention to what's a really important issue. Is that your driving motivation when you've got to overstep that boundary of comfort? And listen, I feel like to grow in life, it's the best place to be, and I find myself most days with that sort of imposter syndrome or feeling out of my comfort zone. But I do think of Rob and other people, inspiring people who do that for the greater good. Is that what drives you, Lindsay?
Yeah, I think, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you, does it? And I
Love
think, looking what Rob's going through and how he's so positive and how he tackles things, you just want to kind of do your bit to help. And I think the positivity and the feedback, and people have come up to us and said, we don't have to explain what MND is now because it's on the map, people know about it. And you kind of think, well, if that helps another person, me doing an interview, it might push me out of my comfort zone, but it's nothing, is it, compared to what Rob and the MND community go through each and every day.
And again, just being pushed in the right direction in supporting M&D. Rob talked very early on about supporting those who might not have that same support network. And I found myself, Jen Scribbins has invited me to fishing events. I've been to clay pigeon shooting events recently. You've just signed me up for a Strictly Come dancing event in Blackpool. Wow, nerves, 2 left feet and all the rest of it. But there's a totality to it all, isn't there? Mm-hmm. Just give me a bit of an insight, because I said you're the busiest person in the world. We hear publicly, because we're in a rugby league sphere, of what Kevin Other and what the game against Huddersfield, the mid-season international, but give us a bit of an insight into everything else that goes on as well in your life at the minute.
So for me, a typical day would be, getting the kids up, getting Rob up, getting him ready, sorting out his tablets, his medication, getting him dressed, and then it'd be sort of the school run and try and sort of squeeze in a quick run. And then life is just so busy, I think, at the minute. And as I said, my priority is Rob and the kids, so just making sure that they're happy and they're looked after, and then that makes me happy, I think, ultimately. But there's been so much, in terms of the fundraising and the awareness that's been raised. It's quite, unbelievable, I think, phenomenal. I think the fact that it's hard, and how we've managed to kind of reach out to so many people and raise that awareness has been really incredible. It's
been almost like a movement, hasn't it? And there's lots of people trying to raise money for all kinds of great charities around the world, but there's been something different for me, and this idea of doing it with a mate, for a mate, and symbolically when Kev's picked Rob up there, the marathon, the Rob Rowley's marathon. I think that symbolises how a lot of his effort and his strength has always been turned in towards his friends. And that movement, have you been surprised at the way people have responded to the journey and the events and the challenges that have been done?
Yeah, absolutely. Blown away. As I've said before, we are just an ordinary working class family, so to suddenly have that awareness and to make that difference, and I think just to give people that hope, is really inspiring and kind of motivates us to continue to bang that drum and continue to raise that awareness.
Well, within sport, we do things as a team, and I always talked about, I've played with some very talented players, very bespoke and individual. When you look at that sort of cohort, that group, so diverse in what they were good at. There were no two same figures, but it all gelled together, come together, and that for me was why we're so successful. Now, obviously, there's a lot of camaraderie still there. People ask me, do I miss playing? Not really, because I've come to understand it was all about the relationships. The bit on the field was almost like a byproduct. But give us an example of maybe some of the support networks away from the field as well. So Jeff and Irene and obviously your own family, I imagine, help you as a busy mum, somebody who's still working and obviously supporting Rob.
Yeah, just, incredibly grateful to them, because without their support, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to still go to work. I'm very grateful that my parents help with the children. I'm very grateful that Rob and Irene help with Rob on the days that I'm in work. So it's a huge team effort, and, I'm very grateful, and I appreciate there's a lot of carers out there that, don't get the opportunity, that have to give up work, that are not able to do those things because their primary role is a carer. So I feel very fortunate to be able to do that, and I think that comes back to Rob just wanting to keep things as normal as possible, and me going to work was sort of normal for the kids, and so we keep it as normal as we can. But without that, it's that team effort. I think the team.
Of course it is.
Around us.
And all in context, of course. I think there's, as human beings, I mentioned it on Saturday night, the charity ball there, that as human beings, we're pretty resilient when we do things together. We've all got a purpose and a belonging, and we don't tend to fare too well on our own, and it is a real family. That's a treasure and the gold that's been underpinned, impressed upon me anyway. Just thinking about Rob, when he obviously that was diagnosed, he continued to coach. I did some coaching with him. I went down that coaching route for a little while as well. Does it still watch the games, engage in it, get opinionated about it on a week?
Yeah, he does. He loves watching it, and rugby is part of who he is. He played over 400 games for Leeds Rhinos in his 16-year career here, and he absolutely loves the clubs, and he loves, watching rugby and getting behind and supporting the teams.
Tell me about the girls. So I've got 4 boys. 2 of them have started playing at scholarship, and there's this conundrum for me as to how much to give them, and so far it's been very little. And the reason being is because I didn't have that. I had to find my own way, my own path, and there's no real expectation other than that they enjoy it and thrive and fulfil the potential. Now Saturday talked about some rehearsals that the girls have been in. This weekend it's the MND awareness round against Huddersfield. Really looking forward to that. And Sky are going to tip in as well. I think the girls have got a few roles to play in terms of interviewing players and doing a little bit of broadcasting. I might even lose my job this weekend. I might end up with Mayor and Macy taking over, but just with their own development. And little Jackson, I know he's only tiny, small, but how are they developing into either sport or their own interests? And how does Rob and yourself sort of influence and steer that?
Yeah, you just want them to have as much experience, and they make their own ways, and you'll support them in whatever they decide to do. As a parent, you just want your children to be happy, and that as I said, they love life and they love being active and they're full of energy, and we'll just kind of support them in whatever, be that sport, be that academically, that we'll just support them in whatever route they decide to take.
Me too. That's it's organic. Let it grow. No expectation. It's all good fun. So the girls on the weekend, I've been in a production meeting and seen what they got to do. Have you spoke to them about it? Are they excited? Are they preparing? Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. I think it's it's just brilliant, and I think how the whole rugby community has got behind us as a family since Rob's diagnosis has just been phenomenal and so heartwarming. So I think the girls are really looking forward to it. They've got a few lines to learn, so watch out Barry McDermott, I have to say.
I know. Watch out, all of us. I reckon they're getting a bit old and all ready to start turning a few over. Just going back to the creativity again, obviously at Magic Weekend last couple of years, designed that shirt there when we beat Cass over there last year in 2022. Obviously Donny Weir centric shirt this time, but how much do they involve how much do they enjoy being involved in that interaction and design process?
They loved it, I think just getting involved and designing the shirt it was really special, and they came up with the design all by themselves, and I think it's just something in years to come to look back on and kind of it's kind of the memories that you take from it, and they wouldn't have had these opportunities, these experiences, so despite it being the worst possible situation that they could be in, I think there's a lot of good, and I think that'll help them in years to come, looking back on the legacy that Rob's created and what he's achieved. Will be something that they'll look back on and be very proud, I'm sure.
Super. And this week we're getting really excited. There's a fair bit going on actually. This Friday, 23rd of June, our reserves will be preceding the main event, also taking on the Huddersfield Giants, kicking off at 5:30 p.m. So get down early and support our young people. And then on 24th of June, the Saturday, it is Super Saturday in Manchester and Salford, where the PDRL wheelchair and women's nines will be all competing in a tournament in the same locality. PDRL kicking off at 10:45 with the final being played at 2:50 in the National Basketball Centre. The women's nines will be competed and contested by Catalan Dragons, Leeds Rhinos, Huddersfield Giants, St Helens, York Valkyrie and the Warrington Wolves. First game at 10 a.m, final game being played at 1 p.m. And then a full day of wheelchair action starting at 12 noon with the Leeds Rhinos kicking off at 4 p.m. Just seen Tom Halliwell, who won the World Cup, England Rugby League captain, get an OBE. James Simpson, the coach of our wheelchair rugby league team, just got an MBE as well. There's a lot of chatter about Rob and Kev potentially getting that CBE, getting knighted, and a big movement, lots of voices from big organisations and newspapers. What do you reckon, Lindsay? Should they get that knighthood?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, firstly, congratulations to Tom and James for their, respective awards. I think it's a phenomenal achievement and very well much deserved. But yeah, absolutely, I'll champion any petition, any campaign to get Kev and Rob knighted. I think in the rugby community, Kev's already known as Sir Kev, isn't he? So I think it just needs to be made official. But I think for me, Rob going public, raising that awareness, showing people the brutality and the real effects of how hard MND affects the whole family is really courageous. And I think for Kevin is shown us what true friendship is, and what he's put his body on the line, not just physically but mentally, time away from his family to do all that to show is just incredible. And I think collectively between the two of them, they've raised probably just short of £12 million for MND charities, which is just phenomenal. So if anyone deserves to be knighted, I think it's those two. But I know in the humble nature that Rob and Kev is, they don't do it for the recognition, they don't do it for the awards. It's about raising that awareness, doing your little bit just to show you care. Which makes it even more incredible, I think. Yeah,
but we can talk about it all we want and we can encourage it as much as we like. Well, listen, Lindsay, thanks for joining us. You are super courageous, you are super inspiring. Really appreciate being a part of that journey, and we'll always be there to support. Lastly, Barry McDermott won it last year.
Yes.
Did the thriller. And I don't like losing, and I don't like coming runner-up. And he's going to be in my ear all the time through this process. So what advice have you got for me in terms of preparation, and what can I look forward to?
Well, Jonesy, I'm not quite sure what you've let yourself in for here, but I think there'll be lots of sweat, lots of tears, lots of humiliation, not to mention the blisters and bruises from the Cuban heels. But no, it's a great cause, and I think, again, it's just going out of your comfort zone, isn't it? Trying something different, raising that awareness, and I think you'll be great, you'll breeze it. It'll be brilliant. Can't wait to see in the Lycra.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, before then, we've got a game against the Huddersfield Giants, and it is, of course, the MND awareness round. So get down, support the team, support Rob Burrow and Lindsay Burrow and the girls, Maya, Macy and young Jackson as well. Can't wait to see you down there. Lots going on this week, and I look forward to seeing you. Have a great week. God bless. We're back at Headingley Stadium, and the boys are in the background preparing for the big game against the Huddersfield Giants in round 16 of the Betfred Super League competition. And we're immensely proud to be dedicating this particular fixture as our annual MND awareness game. 7-time grand final winner and my good friend Rob Burrow will be here with his family as guests of honour for this big West Yorkshire derby, which comes just 48 hours after Global MND Awareness Day on the 21st of June. Last time I walked across the hallowed turf of Headingley Stadium was to cross the finish line at the inaugural Rob Burrow Leeds Marathon. In 27 years, I've not experienced a day quite like it, the way that the Rugby League family, especially the Rhinos family, came together to raise funds, money and awareness for MND. It was the latest chapter of this unbelievable fundraising journey. It began on January the 12th, 2020, with Rob playing his final game at Headingley in my testimonial against Bradford Bulls. From there, we've broken records, we've campaigned for change, we've gone racing, we've danced, we've walked, and we've supported Kevin Sinfield in going the extra mile to raise vital funds, and we've brought the fight against MND in the hearts and minds of people far beyond the heartlands of Rugby League. Games are won and lost, seasons come and go, but this Friday night we can unite together again in a continued fight against MND to raise awareness and to keep banging the drum in the true spirit of the Rhinos. Rob's daughters, Macy and Maya, will be among 777 school children taking part in a dance spectacular before the game, and his son Jackson will deliver a specially produced MND edition match ball ahead of kick-off. The Rhinos will be wearing their Doddy Weir tribute kit, and you can grab yours from the club shop, with £10 from every sale being donated to the MND charity My Name's Doddy Foundation. And most importantly, 20% from each full price ticket sold will be donated to the MND Association, with volunteers from the charity on hand to collect donations and offer advice about MND to supporters. Help us to honour Rob Burrow and continue the fight in tackling motor neuron disease. Join us at Headingley Stadium this Friday, 23rd of June, for our annual MND awareness game. Visit
Jackson, Mum, have you got your phone? Yeah. Jackson? No.
No, you can go there.
Come away, you monkey. Right,
You might have a group one. Where's Jackson? Jackson! Quick, back or you can't do one.
Jackson, we have to have your beautiful smile in the photo.
Right, ladies and gents, the sun is coming out for Father's Day this morning and also for our second event of the morning. Thank you ever so much for coming down to take part in the Arena Group Leeds Mini Run and Leeds Junior Run in association with the Arena Group. My name's Richard from BBC Radio Leeds. My job is to get you all set off smartly and on time, and unlike the 10-kilometre course, I'll also be able to welcome you back as well.
Right, go mental, got you.
Going to go 500 metres mental then. Well, the rest, I think.
With our special guests this morning, the Borough family, who will be taking part. So Rob is here, Lindsay is here, and their wonderful 3 children. I've been remembering your names, so I get it right. So it's Brenda, Bertha, and Barry Borough. That's right, isn't it? That's what you're called, isn't it? Macy, how excited are you? So lovely. Does this mean that you don't have to buy a present for Father's Day if you do this story? Now I've heard that you can push it faster than Kevin Sinfield. Is that right?
Definitely.
Marvellous. Now last time we were doing the marathon and the half marathon, you were moving around a little bit further. Do you think she'll are a little bit further than you again today, or is she alright sticking to the normal distance? Right? Are you in charge of flag waving? Is that what you're doing? Yes, it's an important job. I asked Alan Angela to be in charge, but you look as though you've got a bit more experience. So you can show them what to do. Alright, Robin Hood, athletics. Very good. Is that Robin Hood near Lofthouse? It is, very nice. So we've got some rhubarb triangle runners there, haven't we, eh? Very good. Some nice Leeds Rhinos shirts. Lots of different shirts on here. Good morning. How are we doing? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And good luck, give us a wave. Give Alan Angela a wave as you're going past. Here we go. Well done. Round A runners crossing the finishing line. Let's have a real big cheer for BBC Radio Leeds as the Borough family as they cross the line. As Jackson pulled his weights, there he is, there we go. Well done, girls. Well done to you, well done, Rob. Well, you beat your mum, and that was the main thing. Well done, everybody. Well done to you all.
Spacey's got your medal. They've got your medal.
Lindsay, how was it?
I've had a bit of a tumble, but we're okay. Well done, little bud.
Girls, what was it like to take part in the mini run?
It was very good to push Daddy round on Father's Day, and it was very exciting. Yeah.
Was it exciting at the start, all the running off of all the people?
Yeah.
And what was the best bit?
Probably getting down the hill. The best bit was crossing the finish line for me.
And so many children getting involved as well. It's brilliant, isn't it? Are you enjoying doing the running?
Yes.
Lindsay, you must be so proud of the kids getting involved in the run today.
Yeah, really brilliant. I'm so proud of the kids for taking part, and I think it's, with it being Father's Day, really fitting tribute. Really enjoyed it.
And they've obviously seen yourself doing the marathon and Kev's challenge and everything else. For them to be able to get involved today is great.
Yeah, they've been itching at the bit to be involved in events, so today was a perfect opportunity, and as I say, fitting that it's Father's Day that we've been able to do it as a family.
And Rob had a big smile on his face as they crossed the line. Great to be able to do everything as a family together.
Yeah, brilliant. It was so good for everyone, for the whole family to be involved in the event today, and yeah, Rob will be immensely proud of the children.
James, first of all, congratulations. MBE in the King's birthday honours list. You must be delighted.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's something you don't expect ever to happen, and then you get that letter through the door, and it looks very official, and you open it up, and then you have to read it a few times to kind of till it lands. But yeah, it's really exciting, and it's great to work so hard behind the scenes and really passionately about the game, and then you get the rewards for it in the end. And yeah, it's fantastic.
Having worked on developing wheelchair rugby league over the last decade, it must be so gratifying to see that the sport recognised in this way, not just yourself.
Yeah, there's not just me. There's a host of players and coaches from the England setup last year, and it says that wheelchair rugby league is getting that recognition now. I think there's only 1 or 2 people who previously from the game have been awarded MBEs or OBEs. So to triple that number overnight shows how big the game is now and how much it's on people's radar. But yeah, and as a club, obviously Tom as well, so 2 of us at Leeds have come out the other side, and it's fantastic, mate. I'm really excited about it going public because we've had to sit on it for a few weeks and keep it quiet, and I'm really excited for people to know.
And you've often talked about your journey and obviously through the army and your injury and then finding wheelchair rugby league. And you talk about you never know where that journey is going to take you, but can you imagine from where you were as a youngster to now having a date at the Palace to pick up an MBE?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think I've had a lot of thinking about this as well from when I first found out to now, and I think for me and my family and everyone who's known me personally since the day I got injured, this award, it's kind of like a symbol of everything we've achieved in the past 10 years, everything I've achieved since I left the army. I was in the army, I got my medals and things I did for that previous role, but then moving into wheelchair rugby league and being awarded an MBE, it's like a final acknowledgement to that journey I've been on for 10 years. It's that journey saying like you've made it. This is what you've got for everything you've done in this decade.
And you're a proud patriot as well, obviously having served your country in the army. How special will it be to go down and get the medal when you do?
Well, I'll be wearing my military medals when I go down as well. I'll get them cleaned up, get them shiny, and make sure I get them on. And depending on which member of the royal family gives it, a lot of them have got ties to the military. Some of them are ex-military as well, so that'd be a really nice occasion. But I think it'd be quite a good moment when I get my MBE mounted with my military medals, and it'll be a nice symbol of my 2 kind of 10-year journeys I've been on, all like symbolised in one little row of medals.
I mean, they say you should never pick a favourite child, but presumably you're hoping it's the king that's on duty that day.
Yeah. If I could pick someone, you want the king, don't you? That would be quite a moment to go down there and do that. And me and Tom spoke about it the other day. Hopefully, get down there together to celebrate that moment together. But yeah, it's so exciting, mate, and I'm really looking forward to what comes afterwards. It's another launch pad for wheelchair rugby league and for our club to have people who are getting this acknowledgement, and it's another launch pad to showcase us even more because people have seen like how big this is.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all well. Thank you for tuning in to Rhinos Live. My name's Dan Hawkhead, and over the next 2 hours, we'll be bringing you live commentary. This highly anticipated reserves clash, nonetheless, because of the names involved between the Leeds Rhinos Reserves and Huddersfield Giants Reserves. Kickoff's only a minute or so away, but what a game we've got in store ahead of the men's clash as part of this special annual MND Awareness Day, where we've got the Rhinos taking on the Giants at 8 o'clock in the Betfred Super League, but the Reserves opening affairs with what's set to be an enticing clash with a number of first-team stars out for both sides. Luke Hooley, Liam Tyndall, Darrell Alfort's just some of the names for the Rhinos, while for the Giants, Jake Connor, Eason Masters, international players, all involved for the team in claret and gold. So without further ado, let's run you through those starting lineups. A fullback for the Giants is, of course, Connor. On the wings, Cody Downey and Sam Halsall. At the centre is Ethan Wainwright and Darius Carter. Masters partner Ben Dean, one of the youngsters coming through in the Giants system. As the reserves start to come out, we'll continue with the team read. And into the forwards, we've got Matty English and Thomas Worthington at prop with Jonah Parsons at hooker. And then the second row, Harvey Levett and Matthew Thornton. And the loose forward, Jack Billington. As the Rhinos make their way onto the field from my left-hand side. The Giants opposite in the north stand. The Rhinos, of course, in their dark blue, or navy, should I say, and yellow trim with the white shorts. While the Giants wearing that away kit, which is majoritively white with a claret band and gold across the middle, and also white shorts. Continuing with the starting lineup for the Rhinos, Luke Hooley, after an impressive performance against Wakefield, is at fullback. Left wing, Liam Tyndall, who's made a couple of appearances for the reserve so far this year. On the other edge, Darrell Alfort's partners Riley Lum. While moving into the halves, Alfie Edgell and Jack Sinfield partner once again, as it's the Giants who kick us off towards the Western Terrace. Freddie Brennan-Jones, bringing the ball back in for the Rhinos into that forward pack for you for Leeds. Tom Nicholson-Watton and Freddie Brennan-Jones are the props. As Nicholson-Watton taking that ball forward. Now, Bailey Aldridge is in at hooker. The second row is Toby Warren and Leon Ruan. And the loose forward for Leeds, number 13. And taking the ball in now, Ben Herseyhord. Well, if that hasn't got you excited, I don't know what will. Because what an affair. The last time we were back at Headingley, of course, for the reserves was that Hull FC win for the Rhinos, 38-18. Lewis Roberts scoring twice, as well as Jack Sinfield. But a changed lineup for today. On by the Giants is Livett and Worthington in there. Parsons coming in around it. Hooker and Matty English too. Ball comes back to Sinfield on the last. Hits it from deep. To his own 20-metre line. Caught by Connor on his own 40. So a good defensive set from the Giants to open up. And Cody Downey brings it back. It's hard to ignore, like I said, those big stars. There's some real major names, especially for the Giants, as Wainwright carts the ball back in. Parsons waits at dummy half. A player that knows a few of these players for Leeds quite well, Jonah, wearing his claret and gold scrum hat, having come through the Rhinos Scholarship and Academy. But a handful of appearances last year after coming back from back-to-back ACL injuries. As Connor just flicks an awful lot away. It's just almost like it's too easy for him. Just out the back of the hand. It was beautiful. On for Wainwright to drop back. As to English. Hits it under the post. It's the Giants with this first opportunity from 10 metres out. Parsons at dummy half. Gives it to Masters at Cook Islands International. Short for Livett, who carries it close. He's got 3 or 4 Leeds players hanging on. They push him towards the sideline. And he's called out. He's indeed dragged over the sideline. Leeds just swarming Livett. Of course, had it spells at Warrington and Salford before joining the Giants. He's obviously back to that Warrington game in 18 where absolutely dominated. I believe he scored, if not 2, it was 3 tries. Kicked a load of goals in that game too. As Lum for Leeds. One of those academy players coming through the system. Won the Academy Grand Final like a couple of these. Jack Smith, another. Who brings it back in those green boots and headband. Aldridge. In at dummy half. Now for Edgell. On for Alfort's coming off the edge. Back out here for Leeds. Moving it towards that north stand side, but just coughs up possession. The referee noticing a knock on. I think it should go the way of the Giants. Leeds looked like they're trying to get the ball out quickly. Whether there was a short side shift, I'm not sure. In the end, it is indeed a Giants ball. So pleased to have you joining us, whether you're a Rhinos or a Giants fan. Do let us know where you're listening from. It's more than happy to bring you live coverage of this game with so many live streams going on. Usually we do provide the TV coverage as well for you. But with a game like this, there had to be some commentary so you could keep up with proceedings. As Livett, again for the Giants, getting through that Fair bit of work, hitting that very, I'll say, young edge of Toby Warren, Jacksonfield, Smith and Lum. Whether that was somewhere that they look to exploit the Giants, we'll see. As Masters with his hands on the ball, gives it back inside to Worthington. Carry from the prop, just carries 3 to within 5. Parsons just observing where he could go with this ball. Gives it to that man, Jake Connor. Drops it back inside for Wainwright. Does he look to get over? He's just short if that. Parsons again, gives it to Connor. Kicks crossfield, looking for the Huddersfield man. Picked up by Ryler Lum. Really good collection. But a good recovery as well from Sam Halsall. That is wearing 24. Although he mistimed his run to get the catch, he was all over Ryler Lum. Wasn't going to let the young man speed away. We've seen him do it a few times for the Rhinos throughout his junior career. So the Giants again, ball in hand. Ryler Lum taking over the sideline, meaning that the Giants get the ball back. And they're within striking range. This could be a score here for Huddersfield. Masters holds it up nicely for Connor. He's just, the fullback just leapt upon by Smith. And then follows it up and swallows up Darius Carter while he's at it. Masters, out of dummy half, gives it to English, who just carts that ball back in so strong. The number 15. One of those young players that I believe has an England cap to his name from that France test earlier this year. One of the talents coming through the England pathway. Out of the Giants system as well. They'll come through their academy. Masters again. Huddersfield looking to make this count as Connor flings it wide for Cody Downey. Does want to cut back inside. But the Leeds cover defence coming across nicely. Ruan and Edgell there to swallow him up. It's Connor for Masters. As first team players combining, they're seeing something's on. Back to English. You could just see they're trying to keep the ball in the senior players' hands here. The Giants, it might be a good move as Parsons goes darting out of dummy half. Shows, goes back towards the right. Moves away from Hersey Horde. Gives it to Connor. Connor kicks. Looking for Durrell Alforts to take. It's batted over the dead ball line. I thought it was by Leeds. And this will be a dropout. I thought for a second that the judge was waving for that to be a 20-metre tap, but I was pretty sure that took a touch off a Leeds man. So score remains Rhinos 0, Giants 0 if you've just joined us. Huddersfield with the majority of the possession, but Leeds looking to turn them and come back from deep. It's Worthington who will carry that ball. It's a great dropout from, I think it was Luke Hooley, went well over the Giants' 40 as that ball just put down by Billington. Lashes out in anger, but it doesn't matter as Leeds are going to try and counter with Lum again. There must be a bit of dew on the turf. He's just sliding away as Lum moved towards that south stand side, and Halsall nearly got him over the sideline again. Nevertheless, Leeds with the ball in hand. First proper attacking set in these opening moments. Well, that's a poor passer, picked up by Freddie Brennan-Jones quite well. Tom Nixon, Watton in 10, as now Hersey Horde. A regular appearance maker for the reserves this year. I don't think he's missed many games. That ball just put down by Hooley. It's interesting he was coming across the line, but puts the ball down. That's a real opportunity where Leeds could have tried to build something if they kept hold of the ball. In the end, it's going to be a Giants ball. On the 20. Just confirm he's only missed one game this year. Hersey Horde as Cody Downey out on the back for that Huddersfield scrum. The Giants, points having camped themselves on the Leeds try line quite early on in these opening 10 minutes as the Giants keep the ball moving over the 40. with Billington. It's now Parsons on for Connor. Goes to kick from deep. He's going to look for a 40-20 if it can sail over. I think he might have this here. Let's see what the referee calls, but I think this is going to be a Huddersfield 40-20. It is. All that experience just showing for the Giants. You've got a man like Jake Connor who's got a few England caps to his name and a lot of Super League appearances at that too. But Leeds have that too. You know, Luke Hooley. Although he's got one appearance for the Rhinos first team, he's got plenty of appearances while at Batley. Liam Tyndall, a number of years involved with the first team. But Huddersfield now. Inside the 10 with Masters. Can he twist and turn his way over? Held up, says the referee. Leeds' defence does really well here. Warren, Hooley and Sinfield all gathering around him. Jack Sinfield back in the fold, of course. Great to see Jack back in blue and amber. As the Giants. With Wainwright. Moving over to that north stand side. Fends away from Alforts. Again, they're just finding themselves just short of the line. Leeds' defence, though, standing strong. It was something that will be really pleasing for Tony Smith. His side really haven't had a blowout defeat this year. They've held the line well as Livette again. Going at the line from short. Goes down 2-3 metres, if that. Poor ball out of dummy half from Parsons. Just evades all Huddersfield hands. Picked up by Connor on the third. Who kicks long. It's a spiral. It'll be a difficult one for Liam Tyndall to take. Does well. As the Giants cheered on. I'm not sure whether you can hear on the commentary, but they're cheered on by a pod of Giants fans behind the posts who are letting their allegiances known. There's a south stand starting to fill up a little bit below me. I say this game a curtain raiser for the annual M&D awareness game, which sees the Rhinos take on Huddersfield. If you were with us for our pre-match coverage, you'll have seen, of course, we've shown we'll come back to that as Aldridge with a cut down the middle. He's got support. Just overran him, did Alfie Edgell in the end. The hooker forced down under the challenge of Connor. Now it's Alfie Edgell out of dummy half. Gives it to Ruan. Having scored that try against Wakefield on his first team debut, a memorable debut for Leon Ruan as Hersey Horde just bounds out the tackle of Billington. Hits the turf. Leeds now 25 out with Aldridge going right to Sinfield. Shifts it on for Hooley. It's an opportunity here for the Rhinos if they can make this possession count. Hooley's down on the 10. And we'll see where Leeds can take it now. Nicholson-Watton with good hands, soft hands, gives it to Sinfield, dabs a kick. On for Downey. And the pressure now being turned in favour of the Rhinos. This is intriguing as we thought it would be. The Giants with the early possession, but Leeds, the last 5 minutes, turning it over in their favour. There'll be full match commentary of this, of course. Prior to you can join us wherever. If you're on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook, really glad to have your company. I'm Dan Hawkhead. And we're still at Rhinos Reserves 0, Huddersfield Giants Reserves 0, as Warren for Leeds. Hit by Livette and goes down 30 metres away from the Giants' try line. Now Brennan Jones. Hit by 3 white shirts again. That wall of white standing strong as Leeds' wall of navy was too. As Hersey Horde now just edging his way towards a 10. Struggles to go down. It's really good from the loose forward there. Now Sinfield with his hands on the ball. Drops it inside for Brennan Jones. Goes back towards the posts. With Thornton and Dean wrapping up around the ankles, just slowing the play down the Giants. Sinfield again. But just not taken by it at all. It's halfback who goes down, and that's the last tackle. So not a bad place for Leeds to turn the ball over. I think he'd have liked to get a kick away there, Jack, but I can't see Tony Smith being too disappointed with how this opening 15 minutes has turned out. Yeah, they've not really had the attacking chances as Huddersfield have, but defence has shown stronger, especially in the last 5 minutes. That attack has been coming on. But now it's Huddersfield's turn with the hands back on the ball, deep inside their own half. Connor for Masters, trying to open up some space on this near side, this south stand side. Gives it to Halsall. He's played a number of games for the reserves this year, having been brought in from Wigan. An exciting player as well, coming through as a junior here at the Giants. As Connor with his hands on the ball goes high. It's not got any length on it though. It just goes straight up in the air, bounces out of the field of play, and it'll be a tap back where the fullback kicked the ball out on the Leeds 40. Even worse, it's on the Leeds 45. Kicking himself there. Well, Connor as Tyndall now for Leeds. One of those trademark runs where he just puts his head down, goes straight for the defensive line. Lum into Giants territory. Can the Giants hold out this attack? It's Rhinos Reserves 0, Giants Reserves 0. As Sinfield tried to cut back on the angle, but chopped down by Billington and Parsons. As Hurtiord finds himself with the ball in his from the back of his head. He's one of a couple of players in the Leeds side with those mullets. Kai Morgan being the other, as Sinfield, whether he's trying to dab a kick, I'm not sure, get a pass away. In the end, it just goes to ground, and Levette picks up. It's proven to be a real pendulum so far as this game. It's a really, really exciting watch. The full match will be available for you to watch afterwards. We'll attach the commentary as well, so you don't miss a minute at all. As the Giants win a penalty, it's a head-high tackle from Alforts. This gets a bit of afters from Downey. This tells the Leeds man how it is. But now we see the Giants back within scoring range. Points, or at least chances. I think we'd have been quite disappointed, but it's living up to the game we wanted. Huddersfield with Thomas Worthington working his way inside the Leeds 20. Now English again. A man who's got through plenty of work and gets a lot of praise from Ian Watson. Manages to get a ball out as well for Parsons, who goes skidding away into the 10 and gets himself now within the 5. That's a real good effort from the former Leeds man. Connor at dummy half. Gives it to Ben Dean. Darts goes himself, gets an offload away. And that's the opening try. It's for Huddersfield. Dean got the pass away. And I think it's Thomas Worthington just there on his shoulder. And it's Leeds Rhinos Reserves 0. Huddersfield Giants Reserves 4. Worthington. And it's advantage Giants after, let's say, about 20 minutes or so. Of course, we've got no game clock or official game clock. But the Giants strike first. Will it be crucial? We will have to see. So it'll be Connor with the kicking duties. Don't think we expected anyone else. As he goes for it, and the flags go up. Behind the posts of the afternoon takes us to 6 points to 0 in favour of the visiting Giants. Oh, what an opening 20 minutes we've had here at Headingley. It's a mixture of chances for both sides. Leeds getting close after the Giants opened up. The real big opportunities. It was Connor's 40-20 that really set the tone, but Leeds responded. Sinfield setting up some nice little grubber kicks back inside, but yet to see Luke Cooley really grow into this game like we did when he played against Wakefield. Of course, 2 tries, plenty of goals as well for the Leeds man. In that 50-14 win, and Leeds, looking at the reserves league table, they're in a good position to say they've got a couple of games in hand, but a win today would be crucial. The Giants, though, also in a similar position. Tom Sang's side are 4th currently with 5 wins and 1 draw and 1 loss. Not only loss coming to Wigan back in round 2, but they got a draw last time against Warrington in a high-scoring affair, 42 points each. Wow, I'd like to have been at, I believe it was at Victoria Park, and I'd like to have been there for that game as Masters comes forward for Huddersfield. The Cook Islands international signed for the Giants this year from the NRL as Livette gives it on for Carter. There was a little bit of afters. Jack Smith just getting a bit riled up on his opposite number as Masters connects with Dean, kicks high in the air. Tyndall should have this covered, but he's going to be back inside his own in-goal area. Can he escape? He does really well there, Liam Tyndall. Under pressure from Connor and Downey. The Leeds man. Edgell starting to feel like he needs to grow into the game, get his hands on the ball too. Taking Leeds to within 30. Alforts goes laterally along the field, gets a offload away. It goes to ground, picked up by Sinfield, but referee says knock on. Just a frustrating one for the Rhinos as they were just looking to build off the back of conceding. Should Alforts potentially have taken it into the line? There was a space though. If Sinfield would have had soft hands, and Smith and Lum have got plenty of pace on this south stand side, so there would have been an opportunity. Of course, like we said earlier, just got to be careful that they go nowhere near the sideline because Riley Lum's been very close and actually has gone over it once. But Huddersfield in another attacking position. It's English with his hands on the ball, taking it into the 20. Parsons at dummy half. On for Dean. Shifts it for Masters. Nice hands here from the Giants. Shifts it for Connor. Looks to fend away from 2. Jay Connor. Nice solo try from the Huddersfield man. Gets the Giants the second of the game. It's 10-0. The kick to come. Huddersfield just benefiting off that Leeds mistake. And Connor makes them pay. 10 points to 0 in favour of the Giants. Kick to come. So, Huddersfield, 2 tries up, 10 points to 0 after 25 minutes or so. Jake Connor adding to Thomas Worthington's opening try. You Rhinos fans, don't dismay. Neither side are out of this. As Connor goes for the 2 and kicks it confidently. Extend the lead to 12-0. Leeds had opportunities, so it's not one the Rhinos fans need to worry about just yet. There's plenty of time in the game. Leeds also deploying the substitutes, Ashton Robinson and Ben Littlewood being brought out. Both, especially Ashton, picked up late in their junior careers, both coming into the academy last year. Littlewood's team for Leeds. Robinson picked up playing for Kippax and was both, of course, part of that grand final winning side last year under Chev Walker. Both looking to add a bit of muscle to that Leeds line if they can. Nicholson Watson and Brennan Jones are getting a well-deserved break as Masters for Huddersfield. Shifts it to Dean. Short for Thornton just to run back onto. The Giants find themselves on halfway with Parsons. On for Worthington, a try scorer already. Getting through plenty of work, the number 10 for Huddersfield. In the game so far. Connor, the latest try scorer with his hands on the ball, goes high. Puts Tyndall under some pressure, but he's not that close to his try line. He was about 10 meters or so. Repeat set, and he does well. Take it to ground and get the play off. Hooley. Do the penalty or something here, Leeds, just to free themselves of being inside their own 20. The back's doing all the work. Riley Lum, the latest carrier. 12 points still in favour of the Giants. Alfort's now, instead of going laterally, takes it forward. Takes it on the Giants line. This is his second reserves appearance of the year. As now Sinfield does the same. It's a player who likes to do that, Jack Sinfield. He can be threatening with either the boot or with the ball in hand. Or he can just run it straight at you and deceive you that way. He's got a really good step on him. As Huddersfield come wide with Halsall. He fends off Smith, but Lum comes up in support and field man well. But they'll start the set on their own 30. Leeds really need a big defensive set if they want to get another chance to attack. And actually, let's put some points on the board. Livette over the 40. Under the challenge of Nicholson Watson and Aldridge. Now Billington twists, turns his way to ground. Parsons goes left, jinks back to the right. Trying to deceive that Leeds line again. These Giants are trying the best. Parsons has a good bit of pace on him as well from seeing some of the tries he scored while at Leeds, as that kick goes so high in the air. That's only above the stands, I think, here at Headingley Stadium. Taken well by Riley Lum. Leeds, we approach the last 10 minutes of the half or so. Hooley with the carry out of the backfield. But they're not out their own 20. Smith now onto the 20. But Parsons and Worthington there. Now Tyndall. Across the line, finds a small gap to poke his nose through and keeps those legs driving the way he does over the 30. Aldridge gives it to Edgell. Not seen a lot of Alfie in this game. Can be so lethal. That's the thing with Leeds. We've not really seen Edgell, Sinfield or Hooley get real chance to run it. The Giants line and try and break through. That's a good kick by Sinfield. Finds the grass and finds the in-goal area as well. Huddersfield going to have to come from deep with Downey, who's hit well. Aldridge and Hooley moving up well. Referee calling though a set restart. Just judged our second attempt on the Huddersfield man there. I think it's Cody Downey. So the Giants going back to 1. with Masters sending it for Hulsell. Masters again. Looked like he was going to shift it for Livette, but a gap momentarily opened up for him to try and dart through. Leeds closed it quickly with Warren and Nicholson-Watson. Livette again at dummy half. There's Billington off the Hulsell drop-off. Gets himself to his own 40. Leeds, this is much better defensively from the Rhinos. If they can force Huddersfield to turn over in their own half, or at least kick, that'd be really crucial. There's Wainwright now over the halfway line. Masters at dummy half. He's all over the field. Easton Masters goes long, caught by Lum on his own 15. Goes laterally across field. Riley fends off 2, fends off 3. What about this from Riley Lum? What a carry! Gets a rapture of applause from below me on the south stand. Tyndall trying to do the same. Lifted in the air, dumped on his back. The physicality as well. Not only these teams running it in as hard as they can, they're tackling as hard as they can as well. Kai Morgan out there now for Leeds. On in place of Bailey Aldridge. That ginger mullet. Unmissable for the Rhinos Reserves. There's Olferts with the latest carry. Now Nicholson-Watson, just the ball dribbles out of his hands. Just raises a hand of apology. So close for the prop. Something was on. He's usually so reliable as well. Tom hands as a forward, but well, there's a little bit of rain in the air. There's definitely a good bit of moisture on the turf down to, of course, the grounds team here at the Rhinos. The pitch looking absolutely immaculate as always, as Ryan Golding and his staff do. Well, there's that little bit of moisture in the air. It's dark clouds overhead. Floodlights all on at Headingley. So I hope you're enjoying this match commentary. All right, the Giants leading 12-0 as we close in on half-time. Leeds trying to prevent the Giants getting another score, if at all possible. As Masters sends it for Hulsell, looks a little forward, comes off. The Giants back into the arm of Livette. This a Leeds ball. No, the referee says it's going to be a Giants ball. There's a knock-on out of the hands of Leeds. Jack Smith just having a chat with the touch judge. Trying to work out how that wasn't a Leeds feed. More pressure applied onto this Leeds side in the closing stages of this first half. 12-0 the score in favour of the Giants. As it's Wainwright, taking his time to get to his feet. As Sam Webb-Campbell on the field for Sang's side. Plays it on his own 35. Giants moving the ball quickly now through the hands of Max Merter. Parsons, inside drop-off for Joshua Rhodes. Moves over the 10. Threatening position again for Huddersfield. Leeds need to muscle that defence up if at all possible. Masters, short for Livette. Sinfield just hangs on for dear life before the support comes and holds number 22 on his own feet. Masters back with his hands on the ball. Gives it to Rhodes. Slap bang in front of those posts, Huddersfield, but Leeds' defence straight up on the Giants' substitute. Parsons at dummy half. Feeds. Interception. What a read from Jack Sinfield. Sinfield's going to go all the way. The referee is going to call it back. I think it must be for offside. It gives it for offside. I'd like to see that one again. Because Sinfield either read the play, but was he off the mark? The Giants were slow. Sinfield looked to punish them. He was away. He was under the posts. It's going to set up for an exciting end to the first half. Instead, the Giants have a fresh set of 6 back in the Leeds 10. As Parsons, man who delivered what could have been the fatal blow for Huddersfield, moves it wide to the north stand side. Billington, wrapped up by Alforts. Kai Morgan in there as well. A little bit of wrestle going on the floor. As Connor bides his time, gives it to Masters. Back inside for Webb Campbell. Masters short for Livette. It's a short pass for Harvey Livette from the Cook Islands International Masters. And it's going to be a second try for Huddersfield. Leeds Rhinos Reserves 0, Huddersfield Giants Reserves 16. With a kick to come in the second half closing in. The Giants take a 3-score advantage. Don't forget, of course, if you are making your way down for this evening's men's Super League game between the Rhinos and Giants, it's an evening filled with M&D and Rob Burrow. Inspiration is the word I'll use, because it's going to be a really exciting evening. It's going to be fantastic. All in aid, of course, of the M&D Association, as Connor, to the jeers of the South Stand, hooks the ball wide. So score remains Rhinos Reserves 16, Huddersfield Giants Reserves. Huddersfield Giants Reserves 16, Rhinos Reserves 0. And pardon the language if you did hear anything there. Yes, Rob Burrow and the Burrow family. Lindsay, Mason, all going to be involved in the match day this afternoon. It's a real special occasion. As Huddersfield, from the kickoff, there's a knock on from Carter. So, Leeds will get the ball back with a minute, maybe, seconds, who knows? The referee's looking at his watch, so there definitely isn't long left. Excuse me. So Sinfield, from the base of the scrum, runs it out to the side, but cuts back inside, where Livette is there waiting for him. Morgan in there at dummy half for Nicholson Watson, who just tries to pick up the pace, looking to make up for that error that he made earlier when Leeds were right up with a good chance. Littlewood for Leeds, wearing 15. Big Ben, as he's called around the Rhinos camp, brought down 5 metres out. Morgan for Edgell. This is looking promising for Leeds. Ruin, just arcing run, cut down by 2. So close here, Leeds. Morgan for Littlewood again, just gets those legs moving, charging, and hits the line strong. 5 metres now, Leeds. Morgan, poor pass, kicked by Sinfield, off the floor again. It just doesn't come off for the Rhinos. It's messy. And Masters picks up instead for the Giants. As it remains, Rhinos Reserves 0, Giants Reserves 16. And strongly again, Halsall almost breaking the line. Gets first through the first challenge, but Leeds are not giving up at all. Defensive resolve is there. Connor dabbing a kick, looking to turn Tyndall around by his own try line. It's a really nice kick, but well fielded as well by Hooley. Brings it back, but they're 5 metres from their own try line here, Leeds. Again, could do with a penalty, just something small. And there's the penalty. Huddersfield offside. And is there one last roll of the dice here for the team in blue and amber? Kick goes high, goes into the pod of Rhinos players that have just made their way outside from the changing rooms into the stand to see some of their teammates. And also young Rhinos coming through a bit early on as Leeds get the ball away for Robinson. Touches really the forward. He's been able to get himself involved. There's been a lot of defence. As that ball again, poor out of dummy half, but picked up by Nicholson-Watton, who makes a good few metres as well. Manages to save it for Leeds, but it comes too late. It's half-time at Headingley, and although it's the scoreline doesn't show it, it's been a real tight first half here at Headingley. The Giants leading 16-0 thanks to tries from Thomas Worthington, Jake Connor, and Harvey Livette. 2 conversions as well from Connor. But Leeds just haven't been able to make their possessions count on the scoreboard. Huddersfield have. But it makes for an exciting second half. Don't go anywhere. But for this special half time, we'll show you the press conference of Rowan Smith. He spoke to tonight's MND awareness game against Huddersfield Giants. And this is what he had to say.
To kick off, just give us an idea what the sort of fixture break has allowed you all to do.
We had a few days off after the last match, pre-planned, and then we've come back in at the back end of last week, got some good work in, and then sort of our usual run into a Friday night fixture this week.
Do you feel like it's allowed you to fix up a few shortcomings, at least on the training pitch?
Yeah, it's been good to get some extended practice time in and highlight some areas that we need to improve on, freshen up, get some work done, some technical and tactical things as well. It's been a really productive prep to date.
You were pretty flat after the Wakefield game, not surprisingly, and I'm sure the group were as well. How sort of straightforward has the task of lifting everyone been over this time?
Well, everyone had a good bunch of time to dwell on that and to individually assess own performance, and perhaps not even just from that match, but to any break in the season is a good opportunity to reflect on where people are at individually and us collectively as a team. So we had plenty of time to do that, and some hard days on the back of a poor performance, but it's also provided some direction and some, an opportunity to reset. And that's what sport's about. You got to bounce back from disappointment. That's what we're planning to do.
It's allowed also players to come back into contention. You brought Fusatua, Lasoni and Caesar back into the 21. Are those 3 all back in contention? Credible chances of playing on Friday, and how much of a boost is that broadly?
Well, it's clearly a boost. They're 3 experienced, high-level players, and they're all in the mix. Fusatua and Lasoni would have played last weekend if we had played. They would have, almost certainly played then. So they'll be good to go, which is pleasing. And Caesar's trained well this week. So we'll see. Make final decisions there tomorrow on the makeup of the 17. But it's good to have those guys back. And others have had a good opportunity to sort of freshen up and or get some extended training work in.
And just with Nene, with the head knock as well, is that purely down to the time off that he has to have before returning to contact training, or is it that he's having symptoms from the incident?
He had some really minor symptoms on day 1 of the graded return to training. Some minor symptoms there, so he misses by a day. If we were playing on Saturday, he would most likely have covered all the bases by then, but because it's a Friday game, he just misses out.
I don't want to prejudge your selection, but I'm guessing that the centre positions have given you a bit of food for thought ahead of this. What sort of direction are you thinking?
Oh, we've got plenty of things have been considered and things to work through there. But at this stage, I see Reece Martin as a centre for us. He's been doing some terrific stuff there, carrying the ball particularly, and been a real threat. The other position, we've practiced with different people there, and I think it's an important position, but obviously it's a matter of getting the connection of people playing with each other in combination defensively and in attack. That's the real key, rather than who the personnel are. That's the connection of the personnel that's really key for us.
Again, also not prejudging your selection, but do you should we expect to see more sort of round pegs in round holes this Friday?
I'm not sure what that one.
So sort of players in their sort of more sort of recognised positions. I'm sort of thinking of like Myler at one and Ash on the wing, that sort of thing.
Yeah, could quite possibly be the case. Yep. I think Ash has made a good fist of playing fullback when asked to. There's all different ways of playing fullback, but he's an accomplished winger. He's done a good job at centre. But obviously, Richie's played the bulk of his time at fullback in the last couple of years as well. But he's settled into playing some half when we've needed to, when Blake or Aiden haven't been available.
Every game, it goes without saying, is important. How significant do you feel Friday's derby clash with Huddersfield is then?
It's huge. Yeah, it's massive for both teams. We're in similar position, and for us, we're in a similar position to where we were last season. We played Huddersfield at a similar time last season away from home as well, and that was a crucial game for us where we didn't get the performance that night, but our home form has been strong despite some results going the other way. We've played well against good teams in recent times at home, and we expect Huddersfield to be very hungry, and it's a mini grand final for both of us. I think coming off a week of reset, and it's a pivotal game for the season.
Just lastly from me, Rowan, it's the annual MND awareness game as well, isn't it? And Rob's going to be there on Friday. How much does he and his predicament continue to inspire you and the group down there? And how much can you all take a leaf out of his book just in terms of his fortitude and resilience?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Not just Rob, but his family and what they do, the resilience that they show, the support of Rob and all Rob's mates, Kev and all the crew that continue to show the way about being good people, doing things for other people. There's always something bigger that you're part of, rather than just yourself, in your own predicament or your own feelings, doing things for other people. And, they're an inspiration to me, certainly. And, the rugby league community in general, and anyone that's really aware of what Rob and his family are doing. Like it's incredible, and it certainly allows you to put life in perspective as well. So I'm fortunate to be influenced and to get to see and cross paths with all those people that are supporting the M&D community. And it's we want to do ourselves proud, but we also certainly want to do Rob proud this Friday.
Just on Rob, is there anything about his journey and his perseverance and everything like that you can try and use to not so much motivate the squad, but improve them as people, improve the journey that you're on? Can you use what he's been through as a source of inspiration?
Yeah, I think most coaches, us included, will always try and provide story and example of people doing great things. And Rob was massively inspirational 20 years ago when I first saw him playing Super League up close, you're like, how can that guy be playing against all these big guys? And yeah, that resilience and competitiveness and bravery, has been part of what he's done for a long, long time. So there's probably no surprise that he's continuing to be brave and resilient and showing the way, because he did that throughout his Super League career. So I think he's a great example for all rugby league players that, in the end, you decide if you want to compete and be an example to everyone else. It's a choice, and Rob made that choice and put the work in, and he's continued to lead the way, well beyond his footy career, which is what we all, aspire to do, is leave some kind of legacy when we move on.
What are your best memories of Rob as a player from, when you were watching Super League when he was about?
Oh, the ability to beat people and just change direction and accelerate, and but probably more so like tipping people over that he had no right to. Obviously, they talk about his strength in the gym and his powerful ability to shift weight quickly.
The score is the second half of the reserve grade match. It's Leeds Rhinos nil, Huddersfield Giants 16.
So, welcome back. As you've just heard, it's 16-0 at half-time to Huddersfield Giants in the Rhinos. It's the Rhinos that get this second half underway. Hooley kicking off deep for Connor. Although the scoreline is in favour of the away side, Rhinos fans don't fear. It's been a very tight contest. Leeds just haven't been able to get themselves over the try line yet, but there's a full 40 minutes to go. An exciting one as well. See what twists and turns we've got left. My name's Dan Hawker. Thank you for joining us. And it's just live commentary for this game. There will be footage and video of the full game post-match that will include the commentary as well, so you can go back, and there'll be highlights too, so you don't miss a thing. Well, not to be the number of names that are in both outfits as Hooley hit hard. There's one of those for the Rhinos. There's a few first teamers for both sides. Hooley and Liam Tyndall involved for Leeds. I'll run quickly back through the teams. Hooley's at fullback. Liam Tyndall and Jack Smith are on the left edge. Darrell Alforts and Riley Lum on the right. Alfie Edgell and Jack Sinfield in the halves. Tom Nicholson-Watton and Freddie Brennan-Jones are at prop, with Bailey Aldridge at hooker. The second rowers are Toby Warren, Leon Ruin, and at loose forward is Ben Hersey-Hall. There's been a few changes, of course. So on the bench is Kai Morgan, Ben Littlewood, Ashton Robinson, and Mackenzie Turner. We've currently got, out of those, Kai Morgan, Littlewood, and Robinson all out on the park in place of Hersey-Hall, Brennan Jones, and Aldridge. I believe we'll see Mackenzie Turner too, as he keeps his recovery coming back from he suffered on Boxing Day last year as Huddersfield juggled the ball in the air. Connor just with another one of those sleight of hand offloads, just so chilled. Just juggled by Wainwright, who pouches it in the end. Now Huddersfield come away with I believe that's Jaden Days. And quickly running you back through the Huddersfield lineup. At fullback's Jake Connor. Yes, it is that man, Jake Connor. On the wings, Cody Downey and Sam Halsall. In the centres, Ethan Wainwright and Darius Carter. The halfbacks for Huddersfield, Eason Masters and Ben Dean. The starting forwards were Matty English and Thomas Worthington, although I believe both of those have exited the field. Now Connor with his hands on the ball quickly, as that's a late hit from Ruin. Referee's always going to pull him up on that one. Ruin just shrugs with his hands in the air as if to go, there was nothing doing, ref. And Connor hits the turf and gets an assessment from the medical team. The referee Comes back to chat to the Leeds back rower. So, again, not a talking's all it's going to be. We'll quickly run you back through the rest of the Giants team. So the props are Matty English and Thomas Worthington, the hooker, Jonah Parsons, and the second rows are Harvey Levette and Matthew Thornton. The loose forward is Jack Billington. So the referee acknowledging the late hit, but Leon Ruin stays on the field for Leeds. Connor back on his feet walking around as we thought he would. So the score remains Rhinos Reserves 0, Giants Reserves 16. But the Giants inside the Rhinos 20. As Dean plays it off for Webb Campbell. Yeah, taken by Littlewood and Nicholson-Watton, who try to control the ruck speed, but Huddersfield showing a bit of pace out the back. Gets it to Connor. Short for Carter. Out there with Sam Halsall. Gingerly gets up and plays the ball. Back for Joshua Rhodes. On from the bench for the Giants. Rolls himself over the 5. They're within striking range. Parsons, could he go out? Do we have? Doesn't this time. Gives it to Masters. Shows a bit of pace at the line. Goes short for Webb Campbell again. Huddersfield knocking on this Leeds door, but Leeds' defence has been pretty good so far. That kick from Connor, too long. Levette, Halsall there chasing. Just see them break through the wall of Navy that is for the Rhinos. The kick in the end just too long. And Riley Lund brings it away. Huddersfield only lost one game. Looking to break the Rhinos' duck of a loss, having Leeds winning 4 matches so far and drawing 2. One of those, of course, though, coming against Wigan when the game was abandoned in the second half due to injury. Plus, the Rhinos have 2 postponements that we'll see whether those get rescheduled or whether they get given in favour of Leeds. One coming against Hull KR. It was meant to be after that. Those showers at Hull KR as Leeds coming forward with Ruin. Gets the ball away for Littlewood. This is better for Leeds. It's it on nicely for Edgell, who's taken down. Just staggering around as he gets up. That ball, though, for Sinfield back inside. He's picked off by little Jonah Parsons. And Huddersfield come away with the ball. It's an opportunity to look through. He's come out fired up for this second half. Look to set Leeds on the way. But now it's the Giants coming forward with Parsons off the Webb Campbell offload. Grabbed by Nicholson-Watton and Robinson. Now Dean on this near side. Drops it inside for Jaden Days. Cody Down, excuse me, wearing 12. As Connor connects with Masters. Picked off well by Smith. Well done from Jack Smith. Referee stopping play. I don't know what for it, because it wasn't offside. It wasn't it was head-high tackle, they're saying, on Jack Smith. So even better for Leeds. A penalty on top. Masters' pockets. Well done from the Leeds centre. Appearances for both the reserves and the 18s this year, Jack Smith. And a try scorer, of course, you'll heard me say plenty of times in the 18s grand final last year. As Robinson, over the 40, drops onto his back, trying to show the referee he wants to get up and play the ball as urgently as possible. Now Littlewood. And those bright orange boots stand out an absolute mile as he goes down on the 40. Sinfield shifts the play back for Hooley, who was running a line back across the field. Referee blows for another head-high shot on the Leeds fullback. This is a lot better for Leeds. Just edging closer to that try line. They looked like they were going to kick for the side. And instead it's going to be Morgan, as they're only 20 metres away. Gives it to Robinson. Inside the Huddersfield 20. As Nicholson-Watson keeps those hands moving for Edgell. Shifts out the tackle of Levette. I think there's been a change here for Leeds. They've swapped Edgell and Sinfield over. Sinfield getting caught a couple of times by Harvey Levette over on that right side, but Leeds making a change, and it seems to be working here. Ruin now. Laid upon by Dean, excuse me. They're trying to slow the play down. Leeds, though, trying to speed it up. As Morgan goes out dummy half. He's only inches short. You can see the white line in front of him. Robinson for Sinfield. Dabs a kick. Look like he might take a boot. No, it's picked up by Masters. And Leeds have Huddersfield right where they want them if they weren't going to score. It was going to be right on their own try line. It's going to be a game of momentum. It has been so far. So, score remains Rhinos Reserves 0, Giants Reserves 16. You're listening to Rhinos live from Headingley Stadium. With live commentary. No, you're not meant to be seeing the pictures. This is just a live commentary. The full game will be available to watch afterwards. As Huddersfield come up with an error. Parsons holds his head in his hands. Matty English the first to console him. As Leeds now with the ball back. This is just like the first half all over again. Huddersfield dominant in the opening stages. But Leeds showing the way back in. The only thing they've got to do now, the Rhinos, is keep the pressure on. They let up in the first half, and that's when Huddersfield managed to get the with Worthington. They've just got a stoppage in players. Ben Dean takes a knock. It's just been seen by the Giants staff. He's going to come from the field here. Of course, never want to see players leaving the field, so really unfortunate for the Huddersfield number 6. But play continues. We just wait for the scrum down. We'll see who Huddersfield are bringing on here. It must be Max Murter would be my guess. As we've got team news from Leeds. Bring you that after this set for the young Rhinos. Sinfield. Taking the ball in. Now Littlewood. Not shy to get through any work he can. Morgan for Sinfield. Drops it inside for Alforts, who hands it back off to Morgan. Just can't get going as Billington comes up and swallows the half-back hole inside the 30. Nicholson-Watson. Good run from the big prop. Inside the 20. Now Hooley goes searching. This is more like it from Leeds. The support now either side. It'll be interesting to see where Morgan goes here. He's going to go to this left side, this south stand side. Sinfield connects with Edgell. Applies a bit of pace to Alfie. Caught on the 20. Alfords went running all the way through, thinking he had the ball. But no. Edgell caught. Get the new set 10 metres from their own try line. So, the team news for the Rhinos. At fullback for the first team. It kicks off at 8 o'clock. Richie Milers at fullback. On the wing, David Fussatua and his centres, Reece Martin. On the other edge, Lewis Roberts partners Ash Handley. The halves see Austin and Caesar partner up against Caesar back after injury. The props, Aletsky and Walters start with O'Connor at hooker. James Bentley and James McDonnell are the second rowers, and Cam Smith is at loose forward. On the bench, Corey Johnson, James Donaldson and Justin Sangari keep their spots. There's a welcome return as well for Sam Lizzoni. Leon Ruin is 18th man. Rowan Smith naming a strong team to take on the Giants. We'll say the Giants teams as well while we're at it. So for the Giants at fullback will be Will Price. On the wing is centres Jake Bibby. On the other edge, Kevin Nagama and Jermaine McGilvery. McGilvery back in the pack for Ian Watson. The halves, Ollie Russell and Theo Farge. Just moving back to the reserves game as Connor putting another tempting 40-20 and Luke Hooley takes it well. Continuing with the Giants lineup for the first team game. Into the forwards, Chris Hill and Joe Greenwood are the props with Nathan Peets at hooker. The second row is Leroy Cudjoe and Chris McQueen. And completing the 13 is Luke Yates on the bench. For the Giants, Tui Lelahea comes back to Headingley for the second time this year. The former Rhino, of course. Also, Seb Ikehihifo, Jack Ashworth, and Oliver Wilson. The 18th man is Harvey Levette. Of course, he's playing in this game. So two strong outfits. It's going to be as the rivals round clash from back in, I believe it was April. That 18-17 win for the Rhinos. Don't forget, it's live on Sky Sports. You can hear commentary from live, of course, from our partners at BBC Radio Leeds, JD and Francis Cummins. We can bring in you full match commentary of that one. Or there's also Radio 5 Live Sports Extra 2, Dave Woods taking you through the full 80 as well. If you're out and about, there's plenty of broadcast options so you don't miss a minute here at Headingley for the first team game, excuse me. It's going to be an exciting broadcast as well, as I'm led to believe for Sky. The Borough family heavily involved, of course. M&D awareness game. Just shedding lights on the heroes of MND. I'm proud to support, of course, the MND Association today. As Huddersfield in the reserves game, leading 16 points to 0. Don't forget as well, you can follow the first team action on our socials too, at Leeds Rhinos on Twitter and Instagram, at Leeds Rhinos Official on Facebook, as well as match highlights, full post-match interviews, as well as Huddersfield now. Connor booming a pass out wide, just can't find the hands of Downey. And Leeds will get this ball back on their own 10. So Leeds still scoreless, but with plenty of time, I'd say, on the clock to get a penalty here. Huddersfield jumping the gun, being caught offside. Must be approaching the hour mark, I'd say, or more like 55 minutes. We've had a few stoppages, haven't we? As now Warren just drops the ball. It's agonising from Leeds. They're in a good position again. And it's the handling just letting them down. Not sure whether there is pressure in the air or whether there is some rain out from under the stand where our position is up here in the south stand. But Huddersfield leading 16 points to 0. Robinson and Nicholson Watton tackling Matty English. Now Masters comes back across. Dancing, using those feet. Before he's then taken down on his back 20 metres, or just inside the 20-metre line, should I say, from the Leeds try line. Now Rhodes keeps the ball moving. Goes towards the more like the 5, and the try line's in his sights here. Leeds do well to hold him up. He's taking his time, get to his feet here, the prop. There's Parsons. On for Dean. Ball comes off Sinfield. Picked up by Mackenzie Turner. The referee isn't pulling it back, is he? Yes. Opportunity for a break. Pulled up. Jack Sinfield had one at the end of the first half. And now Mackenzie Turner with one of his first touches of the ball. He was away, no one was stopping him. Looked like a greyhound out the traps, he was gone. The referee, Aaron Belafonte, pulling the play back. I think there was a knock from Leeds as the ball came out wide. So unfortunate, though. Huddersfield, though, will either be threatening here as Connor, hit well by Riley Lum, loses the ball straight from the scrum. They could have had a walk-in with Downey, I think, if he'd have managed to get the ball out, but Lum read it absolutely perfectly to get up in the face of Jake Connor. Wasn't afraid. Now Leeds will get their own scrum. In a similar position, actually. But they keep hold of the ball this time. Riley Lum, hands on the ball. Now Mackenzie Turner, there's the pace. Great to see Mackenzie back out there. A try scorer that knows how to find the line. He's got absolute pace to burn as Huddersfield getting a wrestle here and now get the penalty. Riley Lum just comes away saying he was holding me down, sir. There's not anything I could do. He wasn't letting me find my feet. The referee judging that the winger was holding Jack Billington and therefore bringing the penalty in favour of the visitors. He just has a chat with both, I believe, captains. He's talking with Jack Sinfield and Jake Connor. He's the referee, Belafonte. And Huddersfield, their hands on the ball from 40 metres out. Leeds coming up with a change. It's going to be Jack Sinfield leaving the field, as Kai Morgan is back out there. Done well, Jack. Just last 5% just hasn't gone the way of the Rhinos. It's been so unfortunate in this game. Parsons off of Masters. They're running at pace here, Huddersfield with Wainwright. Now English sees a line. It's in his sights. Leads his defence. Rushes up. Brennan Jones in there first. As he's involved back in the reserves. As Masters drops it inside. Also running a good line. Leads his defence, so matches it. They're up to the challenge. There's now Parsons out. Do we have? Fumbles the ball. Kicks ahead. Leeds take it. Really good work there from Tony Smith's side. I just think one try could really swing the momentum for the Rhinos here. Yeah, they're down on the scoreboard, but I think one off a chance to get over the sideline. We'll see. Now Turner for Leeds. Hit by Billington. Now Aldridge kicks early in the tackle count. It's a poor kick down the throat of Sam Halsall. Just bring it back with pace. Leeds rush up to the halfway mark to try beat him. He manages to get away from 1 and 2 before he's then taken down inside the Leeds 45. You can probably hear the fan clappers that are going just to my left-hand side. This is another penalty for Huddersfield. Head-high tackle on Ben Littlewood. Connor just jests over to the sideline before kicking the ball the way he's pointing. It's hard to deny that he's been really influential in him and Masters, showing their experience, of course, both at Super League and at NRL international level too. Martin's, of course, playing in that Rugby League World Cup last year for Cook Islands. Along with Leeds' Zane Tetavano. There's Huddersfield on the Leeds 10 with English. Pushing for the line, turns his back. Littlewood and Aldridge are there to meet him. Hooley, can I get out there quick enough and get round? As the Giants move the ball through the hands. Connor with a little kick. Evades, gets it into the hands of Downey. And that's a try for the Giants. Excuse me, Darius Carter. Tough to see over that opposite side of the field. Makes the score 20 points to 0. Connor with the kicking behind. Leeds looked to have had it covered with Riley Lum. Just couldn't keep hold of it. It fumbles out into the arms of Carter. He's there to touch down. And with 20 minutes left or so, like I said, we haven't got an official clock, but we're definitely inside the last 20. We're probably potentially looking at game, set and match here for Huddersfield. The score 20 points to 0. Connor with the kick to come. So he goes for it, Connor. Ball stays out of the posts. The flags stay down. Score remains 20 points to 0 as the Giants looking to inflict the first defeat on the Rhinos in 2020. Just been punished for not taking their opportunities in the first half. Leeds, when the game was in the balance, Huddersfield kept the scores moving. And they scored with about 20 minutes or so gone. It allowed Connor and Livette to build off the back of that and build that lead into half time. Now Carter adding the first to the second half. We had to wait for it though. It just shows how defensively both these sides they're up for the challenges. Hooley goes short. Alfort's in there trying to bat the ball backwards. It eventually is into the arms of Cody Downey. So Huddersfield ball in hand on their own 40 with Parsons. For Worthington, who has that try from the first half. Might have broke the deadlock after plenty of sets for Leeds. Connor, short for Billington. Alfort's looked like he'd come up and read the play, but he couldn't get up there in time. But Edgell got there to do the work for him. As Connor across the field. Masters connects on with Max Murter. Smith is up in his face. Does well with Kai Morgan. Masters again. Goes high on the last. Kicks for Hooley. There's players all around him, but Hooley does really well. Exceptional from the wing, from the fullback, excuse me. Once again, Huddersfield have leads precisely where they want them. And that is within their own try line. As now the referee calls up for a set restart, holding down. Alfort's as well to set the ball off the ground, but I think Huddersfield have stole it back here, have they? Yes, they have. Potentially looking at try number 4 here for the Giants. There's Worthington. By the post, pads. Leeds' defence really can't concede again here. Parsons for Masters. Moving the ball out wide. It's Carter again. 2 tries in as many minutes, I'd say, for the Huddersfield Giants, taking the score to 24 points to 0. And it's that man Carter again. Kick to come from Connor. I think this now might be game, set and match for the visit. So Connor adds the 2. We're at 26. It's just been, I think, frustrating would be the word I'd use for the Rhinos. And don't get me wrong, the scoreline flatters Huddersfield slightly, but the Rhinos have been in this game. But again, full credit for Huddersfield for taking those opportunities that they've had. Led by the main men, Jake Connor and Issa Masters. They've had their fingerprints all over this. And it's been a great spectacle as well. Don't forget, you can watch the full game. The full game will be live. We'll be back live on our YouTube channel. Check out, make sure you subscribe. Or you also check our website, therhinos.co.uk, to make sure you don't miss that. Highlights will be available too, so you can see all the tries. Hopefully Leeds can grab one before full time, or a couple. Close this scoreline as Turner tracks back well to pick it up and gives it to Hooley. The fullback gets himself to the 20, and Leeds now get the penalty. Going to want to get downfield as quickly as possible if they can. Hooley's kick, it's going all the way. It's going to bounce short. I don't think this is going to go over the touchline, is it? It's going to be short. It's just going to be shy. So unfortunate for Hooley. You could see him wanting the intention was to just kick long and as far downfield as he could, but he maybe tried to get it over the sideline. Huddersfield at first didn't even think it was just over the sideline anyway. It was only when Downey it was slowing up, they thought, I need to get a shift on here and try to pick up the ball. And he does that as Parsons, with Huddersfield back on the ball. Time running out for the Rhinos. Score 26 points still in favour of the Giants. Masters coughs at the ball, caught by Connor. I think this should be a penalty for offside. He was in offside position, wasn't he? So it's going to be a Leeds ball, and it is. So Kai Morgan will kick downfield, and Leeds will get possession in a pretty good area. It's going to be 25 away from that Giants try line. Hersey Horde. The reinforcements back out here for the Rhinos. Aldridge 2 as he waits at dummy half. Morgan across the line, gives it fast, but the fullback does well to take it. Ball out wide now for Turner, who skips away for the challenge of 2. He's going to earn a penalty as well for a head-high shot. There's Matty Thornton in there. All over the Leeds man wearing 1. So Leeds, set of 6 inside the Giants 20. Robinson, what a hit! What a shot! I'm not sure who the Huddersfield man was there, but he came in from the side and Robinson took a hit. He's got up and not even thought twice about it, the Leeds man. Superb. That's the sort of hits we like to see. Legal, of course. As Hooley, short for Warren. Moves inside the 5. Aldridge at dummy half. Moves it for Edgell. Now it's Morgan. Leeds doing really well to get the ball wide to Alford. Littlewood can injure Downey. No, he can't. Alford goes to ground. Plays the ball for Morgan. Edgell tackles in the back. Skips away from 1. Tries to get away from another 2. Has to take a knee. They're on the last though, Leeds. Let's see if Morgan gets his hands on the ball. Yes, he does. Kick. Cross field. Riley Lum's there. Goes up. Comes off the hands. Back for Leeds. Comes for Smith. Just can't keep hold of it. Or does he? I think they're going to call it a knock on. He's taken over the sideline anyway. Another big opportunity. Coughed up for Leeds. The story of the game, really. Been within striking range. Just haven't made it count. So the Giants have the ball again in their own 10. We'll just look to see, not long left by the clocks we've got. Let's definitely say we're into the final 10 though. Huddersfield's job truly done though. Looking at the scoreline, keeping the Rhinos to 0 and the Giants to currently have 26. 2 tries from Darius Carter extending the Giants' lead in the second half as Worthington just pushed back by the referee. Forced to play the ball on the 40. Connor will go long. He carves it down towards the 20. Leeds are back there. Lum and Edgell. Lum's going to try and get away from Masters. Yes, he can. He does well. As he hits the deck. 15 out. Edgell for Alford. Can he try create something? Just can't find a gap out on the edge. Just one-up carries from the Leeds men. Turner playing the ball just shy of the 30. Now Hooley, inventive, little trick play. Tries to get it over the top with a little grubber kick. Kicks ahead again. Can he beat Connor for pace? Here we go. Here's a good foot race. Hooley for the line. I think he might have impeded Jake Connor there. The referee not even looking at it. I don't think he thinks it got it down. So it's going to be a Huddersfield tap. Hooley trying his best. What a kick ahead. 2 grubbers. Ragged Connor out of the way as well. I think he had something to say about it as well, the Leeds man. I thought he got a hand on it, potentially a finger. Referee and his assistants say no. So we play on. Leeds' score remains at 0. There's Aldridge. Deals with Billington. Now it's Webb Campbell. Good hit. Hits his front. It's Jaden Days, excuse me. Hits his front well. Leaves Littlewood behind him. Just in around the plate. But Huddersfield allowed to continue. Getting themselves onto the 30. Connor for Masters. Those 2 again. Trick play. Goes off the hand of Alford. Think this will come back again. It will. The Leeds man again got a hand to it. And that was definitely a hand on that one. Unlike the 2 others that we've had where Leeds could have had tries, could have had breakaways for scores. Jack Sinfield and Mackenzie Turner with those. That was a bit more of a cutout knock on. So Huddersfield with the scrum on Leeds' 25. Connor, first receiver. Masters, they've got a man over. Gives it out wide. It's Sam Holsall for the line. Holsall makes it 30. And it's proving a routing from Tom Tang's side. A real shame because it really the contest we've had out here at Headingley. Yes, Huddersfield have been able to get themselves over the try line more, and they'll take the win. They deserve the win. But Leeds have been in this game as much. They've had opportunities. They've fought. They've shown defensive resolve. And they'll go away frustrated. They'll go away with their first defeat of the campaign. There's the kick from Connor. Doesn't go through, so score remains Leeds Rhinos Reserves 0, Huddersfield Giants Reserves 30. Referee stopping the clock, so we should be inside the last 5 minutes now. As we approach the build-up for game in the annual MND awareness round. Leeds Rhinos taking on Huddersfield Giants in an absolute cracker. The whole Borough family are here. Macy Meyer and Jackson playing pivotal roles in the match day. And the legend that is Rob Borough and his wife Lindsay also in attendance. It's going to be memorable as Hooley goes inventive again from the kickoff, picks it up. Good play from the fullback. Is there a consolation for Leeds? Grubber kicks it along the ground. Huddersfield weren't ready and weren't there to read it. And the Leeds fullback picks it up on the opponent's 40. It went the distance. As now Morgan injects some pace to get himself inside the 20. Leeds pushing for points if they can. Robinson still go. Hit as hard as you like, but nothing tends to stop the man wearing 17 for Leeds. As Morgan, ball comes out of the hands. It comes back for Halsall. The Leeds man stays down. It's Hooley. Stays with his head on the ground in frustration. As Leeds force the turnover, and I think Huddersfield will see us home. Score, Rhinos 0, Giants 30. Hoping for a better game, of course, in the first team, and a better result for the first team. As Connor kicks long straight from the scrum. This chase is coming back, but Leeds look to have it covered. Lum's going to be the first man to catch it. And turns the players around. Huddersfield line is there. It's a bit fractured at the ground. It's not dangerous for Leeds as Hooley gets a kick ahead and hit hard as well. But Huddersfield man, I think it was Halsall or Livette, comes back into the arm of Warren. So Leeds, can they get anything inventive? Get something exciting maybe? We'll see. As Edgell out wide. Littlewood keeps the ball moving. Maybe shouldn't have. It was a bit of a hospital pass for Alfords. Keeps the ball moving. He keeps his legs moving, should I say, more than the ball. Over halfway. Edgell for Freddie Brennan-Jones. Now Robinson turns back into the Huddersfield line, but that will do us here at Headingley. It's full time. A disappointing and frustrating outing for the Rhinos. Lose out 30 points to 0. It's the first game this season they've been nilled in. The tries for Huddersfield, the first half coming from Thomas Worthington, Jake Connor and Harvey Livette. And then in the second half, Darius Carter's 2 consecutive tries really established a lead that was too much for the Rhinos to come back from. And Sam Halsall completed the result, taking us to full time. The Giants get their 6th win of the season. The Rhinos consigned to their first defeat. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed the commentary, whether you've been a Rhinos fan or a Giants fan. And we really look forward to seeing you at Headingley very shortly, because the first team are set to kick off in the M&D awareness game against Huddersfield very shortly. So for the time being, thank you very much.